Hey, welcome to the video. Today is the 8th and we're about an hour into the market. I'm doing a little bit of trading on a new platform with TopStep, and as a promotion, they're actually giving you accounts for $19 for a 25K or for a 50K account. So if you're interested in getting in real cheap this week, the current week of this video, you can get in for as little as 20 bucks. So this is going to be the video of uh, the final iteration of the strategy. Oh, by the way, link will be in the description if you want to easy click to that. I'd appreciate it. And thanks for all your support. Uh, Likes and subscribes and shares and so on and so forth, yada yada. Okay, now let's go ahead and get into the fun stuff. Now, I was kind of thinking of doing a series, but this is really too simple. It doesn't warrant a series. I mean, it's almost completely brainless. Basically, first thing I want to show you is how I'm observing the price movement. First thing is right here we have the minute chart. And when you're looking at time and looking at a chart in general, you notice how I can zoom this out. Uh, Still getting familiar with the platform. Grab my keyboard over here. I don't have it with me handy. But where's the maximize this window? There it is. Okay. So by zooming out is also the same as changing your time frame. Because notice all this is doing is squeezing everything over and giving you a summary in the candle. So I kind of always say or will refer to not really looking at a time frame in specific. We're just looking at basically levels in general, horizontal movement, and that's all we're trying to trade off from. So let me resize this back down, get back in my little viewpoint, and right now I'm kind of looking at a level here, and you can see it here in the 15 minute. I've got the 5 minute chart here as well. If we were to break above this level, really, I would expect it to not continue downward. But right now, we're just in an overall downtrend. We're just overall moving down. So you could easily go and take short. You might have some drawdown here or there. And this entry was more of what I was kind of I'm going to get into in the next area. And this is more of a confirmation entry versus just a guess type entry. The best type of entries that I saw when looking through my history are ones where I just flat out guessed. Those gave the best returns, the biggest returns, and the biggest amount of time to make a decision. So let's say, for example, if we were looking to go short, but we're looking at this trend line here, well, if we were to go and wait for that trend line to completely break and confirm, by the time we get in and we were looking down here for a target, we would actually be getting in way down here, looking for our target here, and having our stop somewhere way up here. We could also try to get closer to 1-to-1 just by having it over the top. But look at all of this area that now if it should go back, retest, and then fail and go through, we have no time to decide that, no, we don't like this trade anymore. We just want to get out. But if we just guess that we're going to go at this level, put it there, see how much that changes the risk reward ratio. And by waiting even just that little bit, it significantly reduced the risk and reward, putting more risk into the trade and less reward. So, all you're doing is guessing. You don't really need any kind of confirmation, anything like that, because notice how small this area of a loss is versus waiting until way down here if it confirms a breakout. Now, in this case, waiting for confirmation would have probably saved you a loss, but at the same time, if it goes down here, breaks, comes back and loses, now your loss is going to be so much bigger. So that's one of the main reasons why I kind of just state, you just want to look for a level, and the levels are pretty easy to pick out on a higher time frame. So like if you're on a 15-minute or uh, an hourly or so, for example, where price is more summarized, then you can kind of just look for these flat spots, look for little tight groupings. That was a pre-market group where everything stayed kind of tight. Doesn't look like this trade's going to go my way, but I'm going to let it at least see if it'll come back down to here and close it out for a smaller loss. And that's why I'm leaving a wide stop area. I'm kind of looking really to risk about $100, $150 on the trade to make $150 to $200 on the trade. I've been trading kind of small, getting familiar with the platform. I'm trading 4 contracts as a pretty regular standard now. With the new promotion, there's actually no commission fees on these trades, so you can actually trade a little bit larger and pay less to trade. So I'm only paying about 37 cents per contract just for the CME underwriting fees and the market fees. But as far as paying commissions or anything like that, there's no commissions through the challenge, and once you get live funded, that will still apply. So I went ahead and opted to go for that account. I've got the $20 50K version here. So another thing about it is if you blow it out, it's $20 to reset it again. So $20 for $2,000 loss limit, I can certainly be happy with that. As I get more familiar with the platform and test it out, I'll probably do a video about the platform itself. But basically, it's kind of just like you were trading on TradingView. You've got your balances up here, your order window. You can put a DOM in to make your stops and targets. You just place your entry and drag off the position, and that just like in TradingView, and it'll allow you to put your stop and target in for your trade. And I'm kind of looking at possibly even getting it closed at where it was to take a break even. So instead of just leaving my stop above here, stopping out, taking a $30 to $35 loss, I'm giving it the opportunity to come back to take an even smaller loss, because the less you lose, the less you have to regain and the more you can be profitable. I kind of did a video about that on my other channel, titled Risk 1%, Lose a 1/4% or even less. And this is the technique being applied actually at the start of this video. So far today, this strategy's been hitting at about 83%, and I've realized $95 just trading 1, 2, 3, and 4 contracts, just kind of playing around with things. I've played with the DOM and so on and so forth. I'm just kind of experimenting, and because the trading cost is so cheap, I mean it's much easier to actually make a profit. So I kind of feel like it's still the beginning of the challenge, and I've been hammering out a strategy, but this is the final iteration of it, just based on experiences and what I've been working with. We're still in a trend line, but that's getting tight. I think I'm going to hold that and see if there's a breakdown. Kind of imagine it might break down off of this level. Boom. So I'm kind of looking just right there at that level. So just because it broke it a little bit, as long as it holds below that level, it's probably going to come back, and we may actually make a profit in this trade as well. I've kind of, one of my trades earlier that I took, kind of got in about 10, 15 minutes late this morning. I got in somewhere right around in this area. That area had already formed and had pulled back, and it was somewhere right around here when I started getting into the market. So I've been kind of playing this back and forth, running that back and forth, and ended up, I took a guess long somewhere around in here, another guess short. I kind of flopped around a little bit, playing with the orders and seeing how everything worked. And then finally I went short, got short here and started pulling things together, then went long here because of this level. I went short here just because it was consolidating and it hadn't pushed up very high. And then as we reached this level, I just immediately went long and held on to it. ended up closing it there. And just because I saw this level here, I went short, took a small bit down here, and then it started to stall a little bit around this area, so I took that out and went and just kind of waited. And then as it came back here, started putting in the new low, I went ahead and took short and then started recording. So that's been the progress of the day so far. I don't have any real signals. I don't have any indicators. I don't need 1,000 lines. I'm just literally looking at price. Where is price consolidating? Where is price hanging? Because it takes a lot of money to stop that market, and it takes a lot of money to move that market. So if it suddenly moves and then stops like it ran into a wall, there's a lot of money here. Just like if it runs down here and keeps trying to push below, push below, push below, there's a lot of money here. And that's why it ended up traveling back up. Now it rose up, it broke some stops from everybody probably holding short, and it just halted. Then we had a breakout, and notice how when it pushed back down into that level and pushed back out, this was a solid support because there's a lot of money here. Got a little bit of news coming up. Another helpful little thing is install the MyFXBook widget plugin into your Chrome browser, and you can get calculators and actually news updates as they're happening. So that's pretty nice to have there. Just go to myfxbook.com, click the calculators, and then add to Chrome, and then you'll have that little widget. Right now I've got TopStep. It's actually running as a web-only version, but I've installed it as an app from Google Chrome, so I'm kind of running it in its own little standalone process in Windows. It's still running under Chrome, so that's why that FXBook is showing through. So that's all kind of working together very nicely too. I'm very, very happy, very, very pleased with this new platform and setup. NinjaTrader, not even going to get into that one. But let's just say it wasn't a very fun experience. I think we might continue to have a breakdown. You can see we're starting to wick off of this level, so that's kind of a confirm. So I'm just going to hang on to this trade a little bit longer, see if it does finally come back in favor. So far, though, like I say, it's been a pretty pleasant morning. I've traded 4 contracts 3 or 4 times, and then started out, I did several, probably 5 or 6 trades with only a single contract, just kind of getting familiar with things, getting it all set up. Let's see if we hold this level. Kind of breaking across that line. Now, when it comes to support and resistance, usually you've probably heard a couple of different rules about it in relation to this strategy. When you're looking for levels, you're kind of looking at it in terms of where are all the groups of price. But basically, anywhere you're seeing a flat spot or a strong reaction point, that's probably going to indicate a level side to side. And that's where you want to be taking most of your trades from. Now, in this example here, let's take a look here. You probably heard the old adage, the more it's touched, the weaker it becomes. But when in terms of horizontal levels, the more it's touched, the stronger it is. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to actually hold every time it comes to. It doesn't mean that it's going to predict a reaction one way or another. It just means that is a very clear and obvious level, and anything that is clear and obvious, everybody is going to trade from. So that rule is true 100% of the time, and I guarantee you I'm probably going to get some hate for that, but it is what it is. So, even back here, same example. Lots of touches, lots of touches. It reacted and exploded out of there. Now you have another example here where it had a strong explosion right off of this point. We take it back and we see, notice how much it got touched. Reacted, it come in, reacted past, came in, retested in that area, pushed off, come back, hit that area again, and exploded off. So the more it is touched on a horizontal level, the more likely it is going to be strong. Now, in terms of the trend line, this is where the common rule is true 99 to 100% of the time. When you have a trend line, the more it is touched, the weaker it becomes. And another way you can look is the difference in highs. As the highs get shorter and shorter, you can be certain that price is about to break down. So that's kind of why I'm hanging on to this trade, and it's come back quite a bit. So I'm going to see if we can let it ride and get it back down to at least here, maybe somewhere around there. Because look, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of touches. So it's very likely if it does come back, it's probably going to stop or come near here. So we'll see if that actually happens. And that'll actually finish out the video. But I mean, that's the whole strategy. And then when you go and try to determine your risk, I mean, basically, anytime price is moving, it doesn't matter if you're doing forex, futures, options, anything that has a price movement, that movement is going to have a value. You take that value, and for example, right now this is showing $176 in risk, but that's 4 contracts. I'm actually trading at about $2 a point. So the standard point value of the Russell 2000, which is the M2K E-mini, those are 50 cents a point. So every single time price moves, that's 50 cents. And the distance is going to be your risk. So however far you want to go, I kind of advise using a 1-to-1. And then if the price, like for example, if that was going to come up, test here, and then continue pushing, well, then we know we're definitely wrong. We're going to take a small risk, small loss on our risk. But going back in that example before, so we're entered here, we leave our risk here, we're looking for our target here, and should price actually come up and prove us wrong, we close out around there. But if it didn't come out wrong and we hold the target, we make a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio very easily. And right now we're currently not looking too bad, but that's going to stop and go the wrong way. So instead of losing $60, I lost 28. And that's it. And I'm going to wait and see if it's going to come up to about maybe here or so, because now we're kind of pushing. So we got a little bit there. I would expect maybe to push to here. I don't have my gaps. I have all my pre-market information put in and all. So I don't know exactly where the gap's going to be, but I would imagine basically from the close yesterday to where we open, this is probably a gap. That would be my guess. But I'm just going to leave the pre-market on because that is actually useful information. Now, price is still starting to continue up. We don't want to buy here because we still have this kind of little area that we're pushing through. Even if you wanted to turn that into a little zone area, we're kind of in the middle of this mess right here. Now, we probably could guess short off the top of this box or guess short off of this line, but we don't want to wait for it to start heading down to then go in short just because it starts to confirm. We want to get in before it confirms, just because of that whole analogy with the risk reward. We don't want to end up being way down here, risk way up here, target way down there, and now we've got an ugly reward ratio. But if we guess, we can get a 1-to-3. Or even if we go down here like we were kind of planning, we can still get a 1-to-2 pretty easily. So that's all that's going to make the difference right there, is making it easier. If I'm sitting here waiting for crosses, waiting for signals, waiting for this type of candle, and wait for all these different little things, I'm going to end up losing a lot more than I win, because I'm going to be late to get into the trade when I should have just assumed the entry, taken it, and I would have had double the gain, which at the end of the day, the name of the game is make more than you lose. All the other stuff, this concept, Fibonacci, crisscross, death cross strategy, yada yada, it's a gimmick. It's worthless. Just look at the chart. We're heading down. wait for a level, take a guess. And I can assure you, you will come out a lot better than trying to add all these thousands of indicators and different uh, little signals and data windows and trying to look at trend of 300 different time frames. And just kind of like I showed you, I mean, a time frame is nothing but a summary of what's happening. It's no different than just simply zooming out and taking a look at the chart. See, these things, none of that looks any different. Your time frame is not going to change what the price is going to do. Time frame is just a way to represent the data in a way that you can read it and understand it. The same applies in regards to indicators. It's just a way of helping you see and understand the market a little bit better and a little bit more clearly until you start to get experience. I mean, I could tell you probably what just about every indicator is going to wind up at, around, or being. We're probably touching a 50 here. We've got probably likely an 8 here. We've got a 20 crossing around here. There's a 20 down here. So, I mean, after a while, you kind of know just without putting these things on where everything is. So let's go ahead and prove that. Where are we at? I want the ribbon. That's not the ribbon. I guess that'll work. Okay, so if we have an 8, a 20, and a 50, okay. Now that would be the 200 way up here that I would be thinking of. So that's going to be coming there. Then most people will want to look at a higher one. There we go. There's that 50, 200. So you can kind of visualize where everything's going to be. So right now we're still heading upwards. I would kind of wait. We're getting one other thing that I like to look at over a longer period. And that's price smoothly and calmly just kind of easing up. Eventually that's a good sign that it's going to break down. Let me get rid of that. I don't like seeing all that crap on my chart. Okay. Indicators, like I say, they're just a summary of what's on the chart. You may get, oftentimes you may hear indicators are going to predict something, indicators are going to signal something, and here comes some more hate for this one. But I'm here to tell you that's a gimmick too. They don't predict or insinuate anything. Those indicators are based off of price action out of the chart. Price action in the chart, it can either go up or down. The only reason we see this as trends and angles is because time is the arbitrary concept that we apply to it to make the data understandable and presentable. It is just a method of presentation. Same with it goes with the indicators and so on and so forth. It is just a matter of presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this short again.
Order
just
filled.
Because. So we're in a pretty good spot, middle of that zone. Let's see if we can get a breakdown. We've been talking about my entire logic for that entry the entire time. Level, we're on a downtrend. I'm guessing it's going to fall. And then we talked about the little formation of the smooth and continuous price action. So more than likely, this is going to break down 97 times out of 100. So I'm just going to grab this and hold, and we'll finish the video out with this trade, and then I'm going to wrap up my trading day because we're got about 21 and a half minutes left in the day. So we'll see where we wind up, see if I can get it right back to 100 or so, or if nothing else, it's definitely making a green day. So Green Day was a good band. You should check them out. But anyway, here we go. Finish it out, see where it lies. if you'd like, you could probably increase the play speed of the video from here. There's not really too much else to talk about. I mean, that's the whole thing. So, I mean, not really too much to it. If you do have any other questions, though, I mean, I can only understand it from my point of view. So, if you have any kind of questions or want to ask, just feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll definitely make sure I respond and uh, get a reply to you. I'm usually very good about replying within a couple of hours, so I'll definitely even get back to you same day. And if you're interested in futures, you want a cheap account for cheap leverage, 20 bucks, 50K account, just check out the link below. And when you go to select your account, when you actually go to the first step, it'll say select your account size. You'll just simply click. There's a link actually called Top Step promo code. You'll click that link itself, and I believe it's Top Step X, all lowercase, is what the promo code is. But if you click that, it'll tell you what the promo code is, and if you use that before the end of the week, so if you use that by I think the 10th or 11th, you can grab one of these 50K accounts for just $19. If you want a 100K account, it's $69, and if you want a 150K account, I believe it was 119. Let me see, I have a screenshot that I just took of it yesterday. 119 for the 150K. So definitely a steal on the leverage. Each one has all their terms listed, and like I say, if you're using the new platform they just released a couple of days ago, which you're seeing now, the Top Step X platform, it should be listed also first when you go to select your platform to use. It integrates with several platforms, but Top Step X is the platform that is commission-free trading. You pay about 37 cents for the Chicago Mercantile Exchange fee per contract, but other than that, there are no commissions, so very low trading cost. And I'm just sticking to the micros and using the number of contracts to vary my risk. So I'll look into the cost of some of the other pairs in the full size futures contracts as well here soon, but they're going to be somewhere similar. I know in other accounts you're paying about 426 for the S&P 500, the ES. So I would imagine it's probably somewhere around 80 to 90 cents for the underwriting fee for CME on the full size. It's going to be about basically what 5 contracts will cost on the minis, roughly. That's just rough estimate translation. So still holding on. We're going to start slowing down. 11:30 New York time. The most pairs, indexes, stocks, futures, options, they all kind of tend to hit the brakes a little bit. They can occasionally make some moves. Looks like we had the news come out, a few different hits. That was not extremely impressive. So yeah, right now we're sitting back to where we started at the video, just with this small amount of movement. So if we get a little bit more, we'll actually be in profit. Notice how easy that is just to grab some gain, because we have so much room to leave our wrong trade on just to prove ourselves wrong. And we only need a very little bit, because we can close out those losses small. We only need a very little bit to get right back ahead. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, there's no real scientific tricks. You see my chart, there's no indicators. You're seeing my entire screen. I've got OBS running. That's recording. That's hidden from recording itself, but everything else is there. I have nothing else on. Nothing. Just trading it just like this. It's really, that simple. So give it a try. Tell me what you think, and if you're having a little trouble with it, just leave it. Like I say, just leave a comment. And I'm gonna try to see about getting a little bit better internet connection to try to start streaming again. This software is actually a lot lighter as well. I believe I'm starting to kind of suspect that NinjaTrader was most of my woes with trying to stream, trade, and just everything going all at once, plus running the calculators, running Rhythmic Trader. I had probably 5 or 6 programs running at once. And the NinjaTrader itself is actually a pretty labor intensive, memory intensive, processing power intensive type program. And I was tend to have quite a few issues during high volatility, especially during New York Open. I had a lot of issues with freezing, locking up, and just being disconnected. And I'm thinking more than likely, it's just a matter of resources and having too much open. And that was probably the source of where my issues were coming from. I actually stopped recording even the trading at one point for a while because I did have one recording get corrupted while trying to finalize it, and then uh, just in general closing things out one by one to try to figure out what's causing all this hang up. Um, so far, though, haven't really had any issues. Very smooth running out of the program. Only have 2 things running now instead of 6,000. So I think that's going to really help and make a difference overall. Got a little bit of a level here. I'm going to flatten that off.
Order filled.
And we're going to end with 105 in profit with a 75% hit rate on the day. So that's wrapping it up. About 14 minutes and 22 seconds left in the high volume area. We've got some wicks off the 15. We're kind of confirming this little price area as resistance. We didn't even break above it. So it's very possible we'll probably see price come down to around here today at least. May even break past that, continue the trend. We've got a pretty steady kind of movement down. That's measured. It's kind of what you might call a measured move down. But this curve right here, even though we've broken it, tells me it's probably more than likely going to reach to here and then drop back down here. So I'm just going to leave it at that for the day. It could probably even just breach above. We've got another little zone here, another little level there, another little level there. So a lot of places to take a guess from. But if you're going to guess short, either guess short from here, here, or somewhere in here. Because then, just keep in mind that risk reward, even though, yeah, we're leaving it wide, we're looking for 1-to-1, we're going to close it out well before that stop hits because we're going to have plenty of room to be proven wrong. And that will make it so much easier. And then another thing to keep in mind, let's say we were still short, it comes down and it starts to come back. It's very likely that it's going to hit your stop. So you would have that full distance to decide that you want to take it off, whether instead of waiting until you entered short here, now price is way back up here. Now you're trying to make a decision. Well, you might as well just let it hit the stop at that point because it's right next to it anyway. So just a couple different tips to keep in mind, and we'll see how tomorrow sets up. I may even try to see about going to the library or down to one of the local businesses and test their upload speeds. I got to find an upload speed of about 6 megabits a second somewhere, and that'll make the streaming a lot smoother. But worst comes to worst, we may just have a few stutters, but I could probably make it work now with the full setup. So we'll look to start. Continue back with live streaming daily. So if that's something you're interested in, you want to follow along, I'll even go as far as doing like I was doing before, where I kind of lay out what my plan is, what I'm looking for, where the entries are coming from. So if it's something that you want to join in on, this is something I can call out pretty easily. So we'll have stream delay. I did find that that helped a little bit with trading and doing it live and keeping it going for a long time. So, but even with that 15-20 second delay, there's going to be plenty of ahead of time notion so you'll know what's going on. And I'm even going to add the path to my favorites because what I'm also probably going to go ahead and do is draw out. I don't want to select it, I just want to favorite the thing. But basically, I'm just going to say, all right, I'm thinking, all right, it's going to come up here, come down here, might go down like that. Boom. So that I will draw out something like that, and then wherever there's going to be points, that's probably where I'm going to be guessing at my trades, and you can kind of see that ahead of time, and then I'll just update that as the day goes on and as the session goes on. So that'll kind of probably help things out, and then I'm just going to find some music because I'm not gonna be talking and talking and talking and talking. There's only so much I can talk about, so I'll try to find some uh, nice music as a playlist. Just play it on low volume in the back. So if there is anything I need to say or talk about or just answer a question, I can always turn it down, or it just won't be to a point where it's obnoxious. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I definitely appreciate you watching all the way through. If you made it this far, if you found value, want to follow along, just subscribe, leave a like. And leave a comment. Even if you don't have a question, leave a comment. I mean, all these things help the algorithm, help the channel get going, and I'd really appreciate it. And I'm going to leave links for everything below if you want to check those out. I'd appreciate it. If you just uh, if you want to use those, it would help out the channel. I'm not charging anything. I'm not selling a course, so these little things help encourage me to continue streaming. I mean, if I'm not getting much engagement, if nobody's liking the videos, nobody's watching it, I'm just gonna stop doing it. So, just at a minimum, uh, just give a little love, and I will continue showing up daily. And I will catch you tomorrow.